Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Relentless Transitions podcast. I'm Rosalind Keith, and I'm dressed in my Christmas finery because we've got a great Christmassy theme going on this week with our podcast recordings. And I'm here with Teresa. Hi, Teresa. How are you doing on this
Oh,
fine
oh,
Christmassy day?
oh.
Ho, ho, ho. Yes.
Yes, oh, I am doing great, Rosalind. As I told you, this is my favorite time of the year. I love it from the time that we get close enough to really start thinking about it till it's over. So I'm excited to be here today to talk about this topic.
Yeah, this is kind of a fun topic that Teresa and I just thought we wanted to share with everyone. Normally we spend our podcast talking about life, business, and triumphing in both. And this one's a little lighthearted life kind of topic that Teresa and I just thought would be fun to share with you. And today we're going to give you a list of each of us has come up with a list of 5 holiday gifts that come from your heart, not a box. How about that, Teresa?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because every holiday we just scurry around looking for that perfect gift. But you know what? The perfect gift does not always have to come from a box. It doesn't even have to come from a store. So we're going
Exactly.
to share with you, just some of our tips, and especially, if we all have those people in our lives who have everything we think. And so we're trying to think, what can we do for them? Or maybe, someone that you've been around, whether it's been a long time friend or partner that you've been with for a long time, and you're just thinking, okay, now what can I get them that would be a little bit different? So, and then we are still in the midst of the pandemic. Although, its restrictions are in varying degrees all over the place, but we're still in the midst of the pandemic. So I think that, during this time, it would be nice to do something that's just a little bit, that gives that little extra slather
Yeah,
of
yeah.
love, and something that's a little bit different. And it's a time for creating some different things.
Yeah, and Teresa, what I love about this is that I I really get excited when I'm creative with my gifts for people, and it brings me a lot of joy to be thinking of special things that I can be giving my friends and family, and so being able to think of things that really do come from the heart, that I've spent some time and effort, not necessarily a lot of money, but some time and effort to put together, I find that incredibly rewarding. So, am I
Yes,
crazy?
so we are going to hop on into it. Rosalind and I came up with our top 5 each, and they aren't in any order, but hopefully you will find these to be fun, and maybe you will take one of these tips or gift items and prepare them for someone that you care about. So what do you have, Rosalind? What's your number 1?
So, my first one, as Teresa said, in no particular order, is a gift from your kitchen. So, if you've got to create a favorite cookie or square or even soup recipe, um, combine all the dry ingredients together. Put them in a mason jar or some sort of jar. You can buy those jars very cheaply at your local dollar store.
Mm-hmm.
Attach a recipe card. Get a pretty card of some sort with flowers on it or something, um, and attach a recipe card with a ribbon to this jar, and gift that to someone. They have to provide the wet ingredients, but you've combined all those dry ingredients into a pretty little package that they can put together to make a special treat for themselves when they're ready. So
You
that's
know,
that's one of
you know
mine.
what? As you were talking about that, I was like, now that would be a great gift for a person who really likes to bake. And
Yeah,
I like to bake, or we like to bake around my house. So that sounded like something pretty fun. And I'm gonna push the envelope just a little bit further, Rosalind. If if this is a person that you just really value, but you're always so busy and you don't have a chance to stop, wouldn't it be great to like maybe plan a time where you could go over and you can bake those cookies or that cake, together, or
that's
maybe
right.
even bake them like a little small sampling,
Yeah,
of it, and
yeah,
attach
yeah,
that to it so they can
yeah,
taste it and see if when they recreate it, if it
yeah,
actually comes out, the way that they were thinking that it would.
yeah.
So that's definitely a good one. I love that.
And even for the non-bakers, you've done a lot of the hard work. You've combined the dry ingredients and you've come up with the recipe, and so it's not a lot of effort for them to
Yeah.
put it together. Because often with cookie recipes, it's just a matter of putting some butter in with the dry ingredients, and you've got your cookie recipe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
That
an egg
sounds
or
good.
something. Yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
good.
So what have you
Well,
got for us, Teresa?
Well, look, I'm going to continue and piggyback off of that jar, because jars really make like the perfect, inexpensive, but it can look so, magnificent and high end. Those jars, any kind of jar. But an affirmation jar. I am super, super big on affirmations. And trust me, all of us could use a little boost in our self esteem, and so just hearing like good words or having some positive affirmation. So I actually did this jar for my girlfriends. I have like 8 that I call just my good girlfriends. And I did an affirmation jar for them. And what I did was I went over into like the jewelry making section of the store, and they had some things that look like diamonds, and then they had pearls. I put diamonds and pearls in the bottom of each jar to tell them that that's what they were, that they were like diamonds and
Oh, I love
pearls.
it.
So they were like super super excited. And then I went over into the stationery section of the store, and you know how you have like little I'm a big entertainer, so those place cards that you can put on the table, well, they're like really a good size. So I actually just only had to buy like a couple of packages, and I did different colors, and I cut them in half, and then I wrote an affirmation on each one and put it inside of the jar. So it was colorful, it had the diamonds and pearls on the bottom, and voila. And I mean, I told them to read an affirmation every day, and it's amazing. Here it is years later, and they are still using their jars. They said they take out one at a time, then they take all of them out and read all of them in a day. So I mean, it's just different, and that they've used them like with their families.
Oh,
So an affirmation jar. And
I am gonna steal that one. My girlfriends and I are getting together for potluck on Saturday, and I hopefully have the time to. There are only 6 or 7 of us, but hopefully I'll have the time to at least put in 10 affirmations in each
mhm,
jar. I love this idea.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So you
exciting.
can steal it.
Oh, thank you. So, I'm following along on this baking theme because it's one of my passions at this time of the year. I don't bake a lot throughout the year because, it goes through my lips and into my hips. So, so, so I don't bake a lot, but this time of the year gives me a great excuse to get into the kitchen and bake. So, and I do tons of baking. And what I do with that baking is I give most of it away. Um, I package it up in, again, you can get really great packaging for really cheap at your local dollar store. They have baggies with Christmas themes on them. They have boxes. So you can put together quite a nice little box, and for pretty cheaply, and hand those out. So I live in a small condominium community. There are 12 units in our condominium. And last year, with the pandemic and everybody feeling isolated, and I have to say that most of the owners are older than I am. And so, they're on their own right now, because of the pandemic. And so I thought, wouldn't it be nice just to give them a little box of cheer? So I just bought like a really small, maybe a 4 by 6 inch box, and I just put in 2 or 3 different kinds of cookies in there, and I left them on their porches. Ding dong, Christmas box. And it really does. It really, for me, it's a really, really fun activity. And if you've got kids, get them in the kitchen with you, right? They'll love
Mhm.
the time they spend with you doing
Mhm.
that.
Yes, 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 definitely. Well, still continuing on. Now I'm not doing a jar, but I've moved to a box, and I call this a communication box. But it's a communicate now. Don't think like those things like at work where you put in complaints. Not that one. Not necessarily that one. I actually did this last year with, and I'm going to tell you, it was really interesting because I gave this to my husband, and we were with his parents. And what I did was I took this box. Now, by the way, my husband loves boxes. So I just kind of bought, like, a nice little box. But inside of the box, I put in there, like, my big dreams, for the next year, like things that I wanted us to accomplish as a couple. I put 3 things that I thought were like a concern or something that we could actually, I felt like we needed to work on. And then I also put in there some affirmations for him. Well, it was so interesting because everybody that was there actually got focused on the box, and they thought that gift was like the best gift. And then they actually, his dad told him, now you go and create one of those for her. Because it was just straight from my heart. I do feel like my husband is one of those people who just has everything. It's like, what else, can you find to give him? So I just, and I made it. It didn't take really a lot of time. I got my box like from Walmart, so it wasn't something that was really expensive. And again, I just made up these little note cards and I put them in there. And he still has that box. He has it sitting on his nightstand. So it kind of set the tone, kind of like one of those coming together and creating family goals and stuff like that. So, I mean, that might sound a little corny, but, it was a great communicator. Yeah.
That's really you have some great ideas here, Teresa. Mine have come from the kitchen. I'm all about the stomach.
Well,
You're all about the
right.
heart.
I'm about that heart. And then, in relationships, I think that some of your greatest joys can come from, if you're going to be in a relationship, that it's a good one, right? And one of the keys to having a great relationship is communication. And sometimes, like concerns can be hard to express, but I just kind of jotted down some little things, and yeah, that it was really, really good.
That's exciting. Moving on, I'm back to the the theme of
Are you in
food.
the kitchen
Yeah, I'm in
again?
the kitchen again. But this one's not about you putting a lot of effort into creating something. This is more about gifting yourself to a soup kitchen or a food bank or something like that. And in also bring your children. Like my kids started doing food bank type work when they were in primary school, and it was a school initiative, and we lived in Japan at the time. And in Japan they don't eat a lot of bread sandwiches, but they have what's called onigiri, which is like a rice ball that's stuffed with some sort of usually a fish of some sort, like a salmon or a tuna or something like that. and then wrapped in some seaweed, and it's like a almost like a sandwich made with rice, basically. And their school got the kids as young as grade 1 and 2 making onigiri, and then the little bit older, they took them out to a local park where they know there are a lot of homeless people, and they handed out bananas and onigiri to the homeless people. This had such an incredible effect on my daughter. Um, and she was in grade 3, and she came home and she said, "Mommy, I didn't know people could live like that." And what a great learning experience.
Mhm.
So, it's a weird kind of gift in a way, and yet you're gifting your children the um the gift of generosity, right? And you're showing them, you're modeling for them the kind of behavior you want them to give. And you know what? The smiles you get back from the people you donate your time to are gifts in themselves.
Oh,
So,
yes.
um, you know, you can experience a lot of joy by giving your time and um, setting a great role model in that way to your kids. And then you get back just a lot of rewards from the people that you've donated your time to. So, kind of a
Yes.
corny one, but yeah.
No, volunteering during the holiday season is really, a great thing. And like you said, whenever you serve someone else, if you are a giver at heart, when you serve someone else, that it's just immediate joy. I get giddy about giving, is what I typically say. But you know what? I'm going to piggyback off of you with time. That actually was one of mine as well. So if you're a person who is super, super busy, as you know, we all are, and we can be, maybe more so prior to the pandemic than now, or maybe it has continued on into the pandemic, but you have, your household that you're taking care of, and you're just running and running and running. And then if on top of that, you have a business, or you are very active in other, activities. It seems like you just don't really have a lot of time to just stop often, and the days and weeks just seem to pass you by. Taking time to actually say, I am going to stop during this block of time, and then giving that to your friends and family can really be invaluable. So, to your mate, to your kids, to your friends who don't really get to just spend that true quality time with you, where you're not watching your phone, or not engaged otherwise, and having to check emails or whatever those things may be that are a great distraction, that actually can be really, really invaluable. And almost to where you just can't put a price tag on that. So giving of your time, so Rosalind said volunteering, and I'm saying really stop and be there and be present, with your friends and family. That really can be invaluable. There was one thing that when Whitney Houston passed away, one of the things that struck me was that everyone who spoke about her said that when you were in her presence, she made you feel as though you were the only
Mm.
person, like, ever. Like, she was so focused on you. And so I really have taken that and tried to just do that every day. So doing that during the holiday time really gives you some kudos. That creates some great memories.
Sure does. Sure does. I'm continuing along with the Charitable Heart, and this one I used it last year myself, because my daughter couldn't be home for Christmas, and she lives in Seoul, Korea, and mailing something to her is very, very expensive,
Mm,
and it's also really difficult to get it through Korean customs. So I
mhm.
had done some mailings to her in the past, and they sit in customs. Like, it takes her a month at least to get it. So, last year instead, what I did was, knowing my daughter as well as I do, I thought, well, what kind of local charity can I donate some money to in her name? instead of sending her something, instead of spending that money on the postage, I'm going to put it into a gift in her name to a local charity. So I chose our food bank, our local food bank. And, during this pandemic year, the demands on our local food bank have just skyrocketed, and by giving them money, they actually can go out and buy things that don't normally get donated,
Mhm.
like perishable goods and that sort of thing. We all give our, a jar of peanut butter or a can of beans or whatever and they have those, a ton of those. So giving them the money gives them the opportunity to go out and get what they need to make that gift basket for their users special. And the other one I donated to was a women's organization. And knowing how powerful and strong and incredibly amazing my daughter is, I thought, well, she would want other women to be able to bring themselves up, and so I
Mhm.
donated money to an organization that coaches women who've lived in shelters or on the streets, and it coaches them to get their lives back in order so that they can find meaningful work again. So think of something that somebody, and this is, as I said, it's a great one for people that you're not going to be able to be with, and it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a ton of money, really. It just has to
Mhm.
be something, and then send them a really nice email. You can create for free using Canva. You can create all kinds of really pretty attachments and stuff. So yeah, that's just something I've done in the past, and will continue to do, I think. So
Yes, that's great. Well, my number four is one that I have used before, and I will tell you what. This, if ladies, if you are looking to get in good with your mother-in-law, father-in-law. This is really really it's just a great gift for anyone. But the first time I did this, I actually did it for my mother and father-in-law when I first got my first year of marriage. And so I did a personalized gift basket. And it was so much fun. But I can tell you that here we are 20 some years later, and my mother and father-in-law still talk about that basket. But basically, I mean, I just went to the local like craft store, but I mean, Walmart, anywhere that you can get a basket. So, or if you have like a leftover Easter basket or or fruit basket or something, with a little handle on it. So and then what I did was I just kind of took inventory, just here and there. I would ask them, "What's your favorite snack?" Or when I was with them, I would just kind of observe the types of things that they like to do. And so my mother-in-law really loved crossword puzzles. I took note of her favorite like fragrance or bath products, that type of thing, favorite snack. And that's what I put into their basket. So it was just personalized. It was very personalized because it was all the things that they like. And it didn't cost, much of anything. A couple of crossword puzzle books. She liked peanuts and things like that. So I got like the little individual snack ones, not the big cans, but like the individual snack ones, and just kind of put them in there, and some of her favorite bath products, and kind of boof poof the basket and voila, and I did the same for my father-in-law. So that lets the person know it's not really now, of course, the things that Rosalind and I are speaking about, you can tell that they don't have anything to do with how much money you're going to spend. They really speak to the time and effort, and that you actually appreciate the person, and that you're paying attention
mhm.
to them, because to notice things like what they like to eat, or that type of thing, or the fragrances that they like, or snacks, or paying attention to those types of things, it lets them know, hey, that you really have been paying attention to them. And it just sends like a totally different type of message.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what this is. It's all about giving from the heart and not a
Mhm.
box. Uh, my next one is, kind of in the same vein as that, Teresa. Create a coupon book for your loved one, or even for your friends or your children. And, for your loved one, the coupons could be coffee in bed, or a back rub, or romantic dinner at home. For your children, it could be a coupon that you have to make their favorite meal or their favorite cookie, or you have to sit and watch their favorite movie with them with your phone turned off. um, you know get creative. What do you think the person would love to have from you, that shows that you care, and that you're thinking of them? And then they can turn those coupons in anytime they want, and redeem those gifts um, from the heart anytime they want. And, it could be just a hug. This is a coupon, and if your kid needs a hug, give him a coupon book full of hugs and let him redeem them when he wants a hug. So that, I mean, I'm sure that you can think of some other things that you could put in that coupon book, but it's again, it's from the heart. Again, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to put this together. There are all kinds of great things available that you can make it look really nice, at your local craft store, or your dollar store, or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I really like that one. I've had those books before, but as you were speaking, I was like, I'm gonna steal that. I've been looking for like a gift for my for some of my good girlfriends, and that would be like really great. If you're not getting together too often, to put some things in there, like the coffee shop, or a
Yeah,
movie, or meet up for lunch, or that sounds pretty neat. Or
yeah,
going bowling,
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so my last one, so number 5, I had to debate between, because I actually came up with 6, but I think
Yes, so did I.
the overachiever.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm going to say, like, spend the day together with someone, just doing something that's just playful and fun. It doesn't have to be really organized. Maybe you plan the first activity, and then just kind of let the day, go from there. And again, I think that this would fall in line with giving of your time, but just be playful and just relax. Maybe do some selfies and create like a memory book from that, or create a collage of pictures. From that, that will be a memory, that you can look back on.
Well, that I love that one too, and I think having creating memories is a great gift to give to
Mhm.
anybody, right?
Yes.
So I hope you have all um, maybe been inspired by what Teresa and I have shared with you this morning, and the important thing is that you give from your heart, really. Do you want me to share the takeaway, Teresa, or do you want to
Yes,
share it?
you go ahead.
Yeah. So remember, it doesn't have to be expensive. Your kids and loved ones just really want to be with you. Be there with your all of your heart. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Relentless Transitions podcast.
Ho,
Uh,
ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. If you have enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We have a YouTube channel, Relentless Transitions, and our podcast, which is available on a lot of different podcast channels. It's been great sharing this time with you. Have a great, inspiring Christmas.
Yes, happy holidays, everyone.